good poison.
Commit arson where?
Welcome, everyone. The channel is It's Probably Okay. My name's Jason, but Pooja's in charge. Pooja.
Oh, no. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to XCOM Phoenix Squad. It is episode 5, Exploring the Feelings That You Accidentally Caught. And the feelings that you didn't realize somebody else caught. But actually, so I am the keeper game master for this Band of Blades actual play. And I am joined by some wonderful people. So we'll start with Jason, since he's already kind of talked about it. And it is his channel after all.
Yes, it's mine, all mine. So my name is Jason. My character's name is Valkyrie. She is the medic / tech of the group, and had a very good time last session just doing some what's the right word? It was right on the tip of my tongue. Like math for fun, just, recreational math. That's the word I wanted. The normal thing that most people do in their downtime is recreational math. So also a little bit concerned about the Advent hardware in her head, not in her hair, in her head.
Not both.
Coming back online and turning her into a murderous sleeper agent was probably not an issue, though.
It's probably okay.
Yeah. Next.
Sam.
Well, hello. My name is Sam DeLev, and while Jinx, my PSYOP character, does not do recreational math, though there are happy numbers, and there is a happy family as a category of numbers. So I'm just saying math could absolutely be a path to happiness, but not for Jinx. Jinx went trying to climb around someone's brain in a way that didn't make it melt out of their ears, and it turns out feeling other people's feelings makes you feel things. I have it in my notes, like the single most prominent note. Next session. Roll, resolve, resist at the beginning of the episode to determine if I still got it.
The feelings have remained caught.
Yeah. Whether we have disentangled them from my neural net.
And speaking of feelings and catching them and, rolling your resolves against them.
Yeah, let's hear from Brood.
Classic deflection technique.
But I think you failed your stealth check there, so
Damn it.
Full technique.
Joe.
Hi all, I'm Joe. I play Wolf. I like to be very method. I like to be very embodied when I do role play. So to prepare for Wolf this week, I listened to a loop of Careless Whisper and Chris Isaac's Wicked Game.
Nice.
And every third song I would play Bon Jovi's Dead or Alive. That will give you pretty much the template for where Wolf is right now.
We're just glad he drew back from his initial idea of injecting himself with an incurable virus. And on that note, I guess my name is Nick. I'm a smartass, and I'm playing Brood, who is a sweet, sweet cupcake in this horrible, messed up world. And that's even actually kind of true. And as I recall last session, I was hovering. Just making
there was
sure
so much
not,
hovering going on.
Not literally, but I was trying to make sure that everything was okay on a date.
And then providing ultimate third wheel service.
Oh, that's true. Yes, I forgot. Awkward date block.
Much to the dismay of the gallery owner, who in turn was hitting upon you, Amalia, my notes say.
And
Completely oblivious.
We don't
Brood
forget.
also like make sandwich and like give water and Tylenol to Valkyrie to make her go to bed?
I think so.
Yeah.
I am gonna,
Hashtag Team Mom.
That was the theme of the evening.
was
Pastor
very
and
much
team
a-
mom job.
it was very much a like we all take care of each other and take turns being the mom.
We
And
all
Paul
take
put on the
care
mom shirt.
here.
I would say rather than a band of blades, we're more like a family of feelings.
Yeah.
Right, but that would require admitting it.
Oh no, can't do that.
You don't have to admit your feelings to have them. Trust me.
Okay. Well, so that pretty much kind of recaps last session. Jinx went on their date with Councilmember Petters, and Councilmember Petters definitely got some feelings, and they bled over into this fun feedback loop of feelings.
But I also got information, and I think that's very important to remember. The purpose of this was an infiltration to find out why on earth Councilmember Pitters wanted the Advent Network on so badly, that which would be so disruptive, among other things, to my squad mate Valkyrie. So I go on this to get information. Could we please just focus on that and not the jumpsuit?
Well, how about in addition to? Why not both? Why not both? So you did find out that Councilmember Bitters has a kind of a informant / group of people that they're working with to like possibly restart the Advent Network, maybe, but everything is totally safe. Their informants are telling them that this is going to be for the good of everyone, and also get them a lot of respect on the council that they never usually get, as things should be. And then there was like a dessert with bananas. There was bananas. I remember bananas.
Bananas Foster, which Jinx does not like bananas, but was
There was a
Councilman Pitter's
Foster.
favorite.
It did not foster warm sentiment.
Even though it was on
And
fire.
meanwhile, while Jinx was on this date, Valkyrie actually stayed at the apartment and decided to do some kind of preventative maintenance in her head, and found out that there was some code in there that should definitely not have been there. Nope.
Yep.
So
This is fine. Everything's fine.
So she kind of had a whole thing, and then all the walls and the windows and everything were covered in math and equations and fun and exciting times. But basically there's kind of like a sleeper hack. And there's a little bit of like a possibility that there might be a tiny little back door into her brain. Not currently in use, though. And Jinx was able to confirm both that the back door existed and that it was not in use. Wolf, on the other hand, Wolf and Brood decided that they needed to patrol. Patrols had to happen. Patrols had to happen in the exact vicinity of the Three Sisters restaurant where Jinx was having their date. And while Brood walked up and down the street and, really made a bunch of like locals and some tourists feel very much like he's a good boy and somebody needs to take care of this good boy and possibly save him from himself, that he also met a gallery owner who took an interest in him. Not that he noticed. But Wolf was a little more focused, and he posted up on like a nearby building to watch this date. Couldn't really see a whole lot of what was going on, but he did catch a really, really good view of Jinx's hand as it reached out and caressed Councilmember Petter's hand. So sorry, attack of the flying object. So Wolf went to Alger's Point, which is where the skirmishers have set up kind of their neighborhood, and he met with the skirmisher council member representative,
Teamer Kerr.
Teamer Kerr, and Teamer offered, obviously you can stay the night. If you need a place to stay for a longer period of time, that's fine. They'll have you, but they won't be an excuse for you to run away.
Yeah,
And
they gave Wolf a kick in the
That
emotional
guy
balls.
dismantled Wolf's whole thing.
that guy was not having it.
Yeah, he knew what's up.
I loved it. That scene was so good.
But Wolf did end up spending pretty much the whole night there and talking to a couple other skirmishers. Somebody give me those names again. Sorry. I'm on very different devices than I normally am today.
Bordeaux Wygand.
Oh, yes. Bordeaux Wygand
and
and Sue Reynolds.
Sue Reynolds.
And basically they traded stories and talked about the war and talked about what's been going on since the war. And it was kind of, your quintessential happy fun times campfire scene, except, depressing because it's Wolf.
On brand.
So at the very end of our evening, Brood is getting ready for bed, pulling stuff out of his pockets, and he pulls out a note. He doesn't actually know how it got there, but it has a set of coordinates. I have an alien gremlin kitty. It has a set of coordinates for the black market, and it is signed for Mama with a kiss. And that's where we'll pick it up this time. I'm sorry if that was a really long and exciting, or not so exciting recap, but I am literally trying to remember what happened myself. This is Salvador.
Hello, Salvador. We welcome your invasion.
Yes.
You're perfect.
Please tell him we love him.
He knows it is his due.
Okay.
Please do
Good
a
kitty.
2 on that. I need that. That's important.
Cat. Do what want.
So yes, so we're gonna pick it up that next morning. Wolf, have you returned? Are you returning first thing in the morning, or are you gonna stay with the skirmishers?
I'm first thing in the morning. I'm back. Depending on who else is up, I'm gonna try and not wake people up, but I'm first thing in the morning. I'm back in the base.
Who else is up first thing? Like,
I think Brood is doing the team breakfast thing. And do you mind if I'm awake when you come in?
No, I don't mind.
Okay.
You want to fight about it? Let's roll.
So I think as Wolf comes in, Brood turns around. He's learned his lesson. He's only wearing one earbud now, so he can still hear what's going on and stop if people come on by. So he hears the door open. He turns around and he sees Wolf, and he goes, "Oh, I'm so glad you're here. Hold on." And he bustles around in the kitchen, and he brings out a nutrient tube of what you've been eating, of that goo.
Mhm.
I said, I've been practicing, I've been experimenting, and I think I got the waffle flavor down. And I hold the tube out to you.
What did you do to it?
I added a little bit of cinnamon and some flavoring. Just give it a try.
Wolf's gonna walk towards his bedroom.
Oh, it'll be here when your breakfast breakfast in 20 minutes.
And Jinx out of the shower doing the hair drying to see Wolf in going into his room in his full clothes. You have a good night last night? You have fun?
Yeah, I saw a few things that put things into perspective.
Do they have a name?
Are the others awake? We should talk.
I don't know if Val is up yet. If she isn't, we're letting her sleep.
Do y'all remember the Marty McFly asleep at the start of a Back to the Future? Just like arms behind, face planted, like is probably 100 pounds heavier in sleep. And that's Val. She's just like not usually this heavy a sleeper, but I think this morning is just like looks like she was dropped from the ceiling. And is just zonked out.
I have a quick out of character question because I don't recall. Did we learned all about the back door and
she exposited to us, yes. But Wolf doesn't know because Wolf wasn't here.
Seems to be possibly a recurring theme.
So yes, we're letting Val sleep.
That's probably for the best. I learned a few things from the skirmishers. We might have a bigger problem than we know about.
We already do, Wolf. Clean up and then get caught up.
I'll be out in 5.
Good. I'll just go in my room, finish getting dressed myself.
As Jinx disappears, Wolf was about to say something but decides not to and just goes into his room.
Oh, then I get to have the closed door hitch in my step because I would have picked up on the almost.
There was a ping of something.
Yep. It's just that anticipatory. Wait, are you about to say a thing? Should I turn it? No. Okay.
When you get a notification on a message from Discord, but then the person has deleted it. So
Yeah,
all
you just see the
have
dot,
is
dot.
first-
I literally got one of those yesterday.
Brood actually picked up on a vibe today, and he just doesn't say anything, and he just starts putting breakfast on our table, eggs and bacon and waffles.
Oh, shite, it's the next day. Can I make the roll? Can I make the roll? Can I make the fucking
make the roll right now?
feelings?
Make
Goram,
make it.
God-forsaken roll. Oh no, I'm not.
I mean, it's nothing more than feelings.
Misty
Watercolored feelings.
thank you. I was like, pastel, that's not it.
I mean, they could be pastel feelings.
4.
So you feel that this kind of like strange, overwhelming sense of like softness and intiness that you felt for Councilmember Petters, which is really unlike you. You feel it kind of like start to like loosen its grip on your mind, and it's enough. Oh no.
Oh God.
Council member, please.
I was like, your camera's fine. What's wrong? Oh.
And it's enough for you to understand what's happening or what did happen, and that there's a good chance it'll fade pretty quickly, or it could take a little bit longer, but also in the meantime, like, you know why you're feeling the feelings, but you still kind of feel the feelings.
Yup. No. Sometimes you know that it's a bleed thing, or like you're frustrated because you're playing against a blue deck in Magic, and you know you're frustrated because you're playing against a blue deck in Magic.
Look,
but it
why
doesn't
would
make you
you-
not frustrated against a blue deck in Magic.
Because
Sam?
you are still, in fact, playing against a blue deck in Magic.
Right. It's still there. And you know that the thing to, like, you can't just call someone a I don't have a bleep button to activate here for playing that deck, but
you
you
really want to
feel
anyway.
it. You feel it in your heart. And then you have to wait for it to go away because the feeling exists and the feeling is real and the feeling will hopefully pass, which is why Wolf, with his excellent hearing as Jinx gets ready, but also figures that out, the sort of like, I suppose, post-shower thought. Oh, Jesus. And slams a drawer with a little more force than entirely necessary. Feelings are playing against a blue deck, my friends.
As you slam the drawer shut, one of the knobs kind of like just does like a little rattle and then plunk and falls down.
And there was a recording device inside it.
No, it's just furniture that has been scavenged and doesn't always stand up to any kind of actual almost a mic drop, if you will, except it's a knob. Technically, I suppose it could be repaired. But moving right along. So are y'all gonna wait to like have breakfast and stuff until Valkyrie wakes up? Are you gonna hang out? Are you gonna have like this discussion? Are you gonna ask Wolf where he's been? Are you going to do these things while Valkyrie is still asleep?
I was thinking the drawer slam might be the moment that there's enough noise now happening that yeah.
Awesome. So Valkyrie, who had a moment last night, how is she feeling this morning?
About as good as you can feel when you go to sleep with a headache and you wake up with the headache. That like shoulder neck tension, and slept in her clothes. So
No, they changed you into jammies.
oh, that's right. I forgot about that. Okay.
So at least there was that.
But I think she is also such a creature of habit. Like her head hurts, but it's probably not migraine level anymore. It's just, I think we had, do we have mattresses, beds, cots?
Well, like cots.
Like cots.
Yeah, cots. Okay. I think there is the kind of mechanical repetition of like rolling out of bed and like doing push-ups and probably like, I'm trying to think of what would be mismatched of like putting on the new like weird top that she got in the marketplace and her like camo cargo pants, of wandering out into the living room a little blurry and bleary. That's the word I wanted. She's not blurry.
Everyone else is though.
Yeah.
Did she take the time to like brush her hair or anything, or does she have like the fun bed cowlick?
There's something about Valkyrie.
we don't talk about Valkyrie. I think she has short hair. I don't remember. I'm trying to find the art again.
I think you were saying something about like more of a pixie cut kind of thing. Which
Yeah, something like
could
that.
Do a bedhead.
Yeah.
Right,
Is
as we
more
spoke
likely to
in
happen.
pre-show, the lack of gravity of shorter hair makes it even less behaved on occasion.
She's got sort of a 40-degree faux hawk, I think. And yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna say that at that point you all are gathered around the table, and is there any reason why y'all wouldn't just share the information about what happened with Valkyrie and the note?
I would love
Valkyrie
for
would
Jinx
report.
to deliver the like container of Val's actual information in a maximally like passive aggressive tone to Wolf. Just, we don't need to establish an entire scene of exposition. But just so we know
Yeah.
the mode of it,
Yeah.
of here's what happened while you weren't there, Val, sort of thing. That's all. Otherwise, I have nothing in
Yeah.
particular.
Mhm.
Awesome.
Can you tell them
Wolf,
about the skirmish? Oh, go ahead.
yeah, Wolf is going to take a moment and really digest everything, and he's going to walk over to Val, put his hand on her shoulder if she's okay with it.
Yep. Again, she's the hugger of the group. So
Yeah. His body language suggests, like, if you want a fucking hug, this is a one-time pass.
oh yeah. I think she would. I mean, she is sort of well, I don't know if that's insensitive. I was gonna say she's zombie like right now, but I didn't want to like
Yeah. Yeah.
And now you're lost for words.
Yep. But no, I think she would sort of climb out of the chair and
Yeah.
grab him in a hug for that opportunity.
Wolf's gonna kind of speak gently, like not whispering, but like he's gonna say, "We're not gonna let anything happen to you. You know that."
Yeah. Yeah. I just I also just want to say, so that everyone's heard it at the same time, that if the worst should happen, I'd rather you don't let me do anything.
That's not going to happen.
Fine. I don't want it to, but can you at least tell me that?
I've got you, Valkyrie. Don't worry.
We take care of our own, but we don't need to worry about it because it's not going to happen.
Val, I also know what it's like to have a ticking time bomb inside of your system.
Yeah. Okay.
Pusha, the meeting is tonight, right? It's later at night. Okay. So we have a day to do what we're doing here.
You do. You have a day to figure out what you want to get at the black market, or if you would like to attempt to scout out the location ahead of time, or the passive aggressive messages from Brush Me Buttjon from the Templars, who would actually, like to know if there's a way to find chrysalids before. But then Jinx did press councilperson Petters on making an introduction to their contact. But you are in a holding pattern there until they get back to you on it.
Exactly.
Now, Wolf is going to relay everything he learned about the skirmishers and the bodies that are turning up. But I want to ask, before Wolf left, I think he would have tried to collect as much information as he can about the bodies. Is there anything similar about them? And are their chips intact, or have their chips been removed?
It's difficult to from the information that they gave you, it is difficult to determine whether or not there's a driving force between why these particular skirmishers were taken, besides the fact that they were all hybrids. So that looks to be the one overriding factor. There have definitely been something's going on with their chips are there. Their chips are intact.
Okay.
But also there's just a lot of damage to their bodies overall in a way that is a combination of how long it took their bodies to be found. Because they're not turning up immediately. And some of them are turning up in less than ideal conditions. But it is obvious that there has been a prolonged term of physical trauma inflicted upon them. I'll put it that way. So yes, You don't know why. No one has been able to figure out like what the driving force is behind it. But these people were held for longer lengths of time. And then when their bodies were released, they were released in across the outskirts of the city. It doesn't point to a specific neighborhood. And their chips are, for all intents and purposes, intact.
Okay.
For those of them whose bodies were not more in advanced states of decomposition or having been hit by scavengers or all of that. Sorry, it took me a long time to come up with the word decomposition. That was like, I was like, come back to me, procedural viewing.
And so, as far as we know, has this been exclusive to hybrids? Have there been human bodies turning up in similar ways?
Not in the same, like, taken and
Right.
for abducted as far as anyone knows.
Right.
But also
right.
people come and go from the city a lot.
Sure.
And humans keep slightly less like strict tabs on their people.
Mm-hmm.
Especially
sure.
in light of everything that's going on with the rebuilding and stuff like that. So
sure.
no prominent members of the human population have been taken, and no one that anyone is reporting missing.
Right.
Right,
Cool.
but also there are chrysalids popping up, and how do you tell humans missing because whatever's happening to skirmishers happened to them, and how much is chrysalid pods having, yes, Brood, a bit of a munch.
Wolf, do you think it's more important to follow up on these bodies or continue our work to get into the black market?
I have a feeling it all points to the same place eventually, something like this. I just don't have all the pieces.
Well, if both doors go to the same place, which one do you want to open?
If it were up to me, I'd pick the door with the most things to swing a sword at, but it's not up to me.
Oh, out of character, Pooja.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I would have to be out of character to address Pooja by name.
Are you okay?
My personal overarching omniscient,
Yeah.
I can't think of anything with J, assistant.
Just yeah.
Adjudicating assistant.
Yeah, just go full Deadpool. But Valkyrie had also discovered something about a nearby tech facility, right? That there were mechs nearby, something like that.
Yes. So at the council meeting, there are mechs in various states of repair, disrepair across the city. They're currently all powered down.
Right.
But one of the things that you had told Mia was that you might be able to reprogram them in order to do limited functioning tasks while not being a danger to the civilian population, or I guess the non-civilian population as well, and not having to have an admin network backup online.
Yeah.
So if you would like to spend the day doing that,
okay.
you
So
would be
I'm
more
just
than
gonna,
happy about it.
you know, in this discussion of like what we need to do next, Valkyrie kind of like looks up from just shoveling food, you know, bags under her eyes, and is like, we also have access to mechs if we want to fashion some backup for ourselves and whatever's going to happen next. I mean, it can be a lot of applications there, depending on what all we want to do today.
I think that sounds like an excellent idea. And I wanted to, let me know if I'm out of line, but since you discovered the back door in your systems, do you think you could recognize anything like that in the mechs?
I have a lot more documentation to work with. Yes. So That's
I,
the goal. Yes, is to be able to access their systems, figure out if we can get them to run on independent power supplies and without a centralized network, and have some like semi-autonomous function without running wild. So
I just want to make sure that if you go through the trouble of getting these online and usable for the population, that doesn't end up biting us if there's a backdoor that can be accessed by
yeah,
the persons unknown.
it's going to be way easier to work on that with something that isn't like a person, you know, uh, where I could even yank out the circuit board and look at it in case there's like a physical, aspect to it. That's, there's a lot of things that are more accessible to that than the thing that's in my gray matter. So,
Jason, may I lightly vibe check Valkyrie at this point? Is she putting this forth as a like, I would just love to like put my head inside like some assembly programming and not have to think about anything? Or is this like we said we'd do it, but it's techie and that reminds me of the other techie? Like, what is the vibe that I'm getting of how she feels toward doing this route,
I think
as opposed to
originally,
the other things on the menu?
yeah, I think it would have been like, oh, this is one like sort of equally likely or useful thing. But that escapism is a component to it for sure. Doing that or being in like VR Overwatch with Raven, like any of that, like is probably allows her to disassociate's the wrong word, but
have some distance. Yeah.
Yeah. Would allow her both the relief from literal headache and philosophical headache, existential headache.
Valkyrie, my love, you say that we could do this with the mechs, but it really means it's an incredibly urgent task. But I mean, do we have any choice but to let you take point on it?
Well, I would take point, but I don't want to do it by myself. And if we want to put it off, that's fine. I just wanted to add it to the pile of things that we should do, so it doesn't go by the wayside.
Brood, do you code?
No.
What I will put out there is that Nia is incredibly invested in this idea of yours that you have brought forth. And while they are not up to kind of XCOM level skills, there are engineers and teams of coders and things that work with the council. So she could put some of those people at your disposal in order to assist you in this task. Because normally you wouldn't be able to really get one of these mechs up and running in a day. But I would say that with like a team from Nia, if you want to spend the day doing this, I will say that you could, depending on how well it goes, get, some indeterminate number of mechs up and running.
Fair, yeah.
Oh no, sorry.
Jinx, since we're kind of breaking down our roles today, sounds like you're at a impasse with Pitter at the moment, so
Wolf looks away for a moment.
Is there a project or something that you're thinking of working on?
There are a few things that I'm well suited toward, but just put me on anything. If we send me to the black market, I'll find someone in a corner looking shady. If we send to follow after the skirmishers, I'll be able to watch that one's back. And sooner or later, I'm going to have to be on a team to hunt for these chrysalids. They can't keep popping out of the earth like this. It's absurd. It's our job to get rid of them.
All right. Well, why don't you and Wolf head over and take a look at the black market connection? I know Wolf's made some inroads there, and I think the two of you ought to be able to suss out anything that we need to track down. Does that sound good?
Look at you, sounding authoritative.
Well, we don't have as much time as we'd like, right?
That was a compliment, Brood.
Oh,
Really? Huh. Couldn't tell.
I mean, I think Brood makes sense. Also, if the two of you are going, you may want to reference the algorithmic catalog I made of appropriate outfits. I made a pretty good start on my own outfit, but if I don't have to wear it, then there's a lot of extra pieces to work with too. So
it actually worked great last night. I was able to infiltrate or blend seamlessly in with the other members of the town, and they were very helpful as I kind of passed as one of theirs.
What does the algorithm put together for Wolf?
Let's say let me find out first. Y'all are talking about going to scout out the location ahead of the black market tonight, or the black market meeting. And the algorithm, roll a die, please.
A die, okay.
Mhm.
1.
The algorithm puts out what would basically be the companion outfit to what Jinx was wearing last night.
Oh my goodness.
That's
like a
six,
sexy
my
suit
friend.
kind of thing.
Like it would be a like, because Jinx's outfit was that jumpsuit, sleek, wider legged pant, and it has matching accents to the jumpsuit. But it's a sharply cut, but like slightly wider in the leg. You look like literally it was like if two people were together in the ad.
They were in the same magazine on the same
Yeah.
page.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Well,
What worst
someone
possible
in this
answer
city
is-
did wear an outfit that this corresponds to. So, the training data. Well, isn't that sharp?
All right, let's get this over with.
Was the invitation from the Templars only towards Jinx, or was it to interface with us as an organization?
I don't know, and I don't care, Brood. I don't want to be the one interfacing with them at all. They'll want to get into some kind of interfacing, and I don't want to touch it. So feel free to pretend that it was to all of us if it weren't.
All right. Well, we need all the allies we can get, so I think I'll make contact and see what I can find out from them.
Wolf chuckles out loud and then stuffs it back down.
What?
You ever met a Templar in person?
Only tangentially in what was it, Prague?
This is gonna be a good time.
Yeah, there was
Have
that other
fun.
team in the AO in Prague. They had a Templar with them, I think.
They held their objective, and I mean, I can't imagine it's going to be that difficult. Do you think?
I get up to start washing my dishes.
You're gonna do just fine. You're gonna do just fine, Brew. Oh Jesus! Have a recording if you can.
I appreciate the vote of confidence. If you think that's important from a tactical standpoint, yeah, I'll link up with Raven and do a live feed, right? Live
Jesus,
stream.
Brood. I'm trying to have a sense of humor. Just
Valkyrie,
be yourself.
I laugh into the sink.
Valkyrie mimes having the little like handheld tape recorder and says, click, and then reads off like the date and time. Wolf laughed today. Click.
Okay, so on that, I think it's a good time to pull back and as you all actually share a genuine laugh together at Wolf's expense. So let's say that we'll start with Valkyrie going to get in contact with Nia and start working on the mechs if you're good with that. And she is so excited about the possibilities, and she's like, we have so many mechs around the city, and besides the fact that they're terrifying for people to look at all the time, and it's become kind of a weird rite of passage for the children to sneak out in the middle of the night and
Geez.
tap the mech and then run back to their apartments. It's a whole thing. And
have we disarmed most of the armaments that they carry?
Everything that we've been able to.
Okay, fair.
I have a set of engineers who have been working with them, but because there's been no way to get them safely back online, it's just what we can kind of it's just what we can disassemble from the outside.
Yeah.
Which is a lot. There are no more micro missiles just waiting to go off in the middle of the city, which is always a plus.
Great. Yeah, I was concerned.
However, we know that other mechs came with other mods that we just can't access. And we don't have the armaments to spare to really blow them all up.
Yeah. That we may be able to get through that. My gremlin has some accessibility, depending on if we can get some power to the mech without having it just completely come online. But if you say you have some dismantled components.
Yeah, and she, gives you an address, tell you what, meet me here. We'll get the team of engineers has been working out of this workshop.
Okay. Yeah, we can mock up an example and then test it.
So you end up going to just a warehouse over in the near the arts district, but it's away from most populated centers.
Mm-hmm.
So A+ on safety. Not so great on security. It's just a group of what ends up you look around and you are like, I know these people. Not them specifically.
Yeah. There's an archetype at work.
Mm-hmm, there's an archetype at work of these tech bros, of these young tech muppets.
Tech Muppets is very good.
And they have ideas and they have things that they would like to do. And sometimes those things involve fires that they really didn't mean to set.
I mean, is that really anyone's fault?
Definitely no one's fault. Definitely not theirs. But you know what is important is that they eventually put it out.
Important. On my way there, is there anywhere to pick up beignets?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I'm trying to get as big a box as I can to take with me because I know my people. And
You're right. You are correct. And yes, you can absolutely get beignets. You get, a few bags of them. And when you show up, they descend upon you like the ravenous horde.
That's fine.
That they are. Because they may have.
I am your leader now.
Immediately one of us. And one of them hands you a giant cup of coffee.
Oh, this is good. Okay, we're on the... Yeah. Because I think she has the sunglasses, and the, is a little haggard still. But that could just be because she was up all night coding for not her life.
I mean, truly, half of them have the same look.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They're not asking any questions.
Right.
They assume it's just the exact same thing they've been doing. But when you go in the workshop, it's reasonably well appointed. There are some disassembled parts. There's a bunch of like workstations and computer stations and things like that. And
Show me to your whiteboards.
and the team isn't like, they're very excited to tell you about the things that they've been working on. And you realize, like, while they have made some headway in power sources, like limited power sourcing, the code to make these mechs usable beyond weapons of mass destruction, and possibly weapons of mass destruction that are totally uncontrollable without the Advent network,
Yeah.
they haven't made any headway there.
Okay. And I think that's probably where I bring an advantage with a lot of Dr. Chen's research and Taigen, and because we were hacking these things in the field, and you know,
with varying degrees of success and length of control.
my hacks always worked.
You always just quick save before a hack. So,
We've had this legendary Iron Man discussion before. However, so I think like the team is really excited about the stuff that you bring to the table, and they all want to get a piece of your code.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, look at my code. Look at it.
It
Isn't it
brings
neat?
all the tech Muppets to the yard.
Wouldn't you think this code is complete? Yeah. So I think that's probably into a morning montage.
Yeah, so we're gonna go into a whole montage of like whiteboards and dry erase markers and excited moppets with one of them is excitedly waving like a piece of a mech arm around to emphasize things. Other tech moppets don't get hit by it, but only because they're so used to this happening that dodging has become instinctive. And I'm going to actually have you roll some insight plus rig to see how well y'all integrate and are able to work with.
Sweet. That's 5 dice for me.
nice.
Oh, and I forget, do we get something for equipment? I forget how this one works. Do we get an extra die for equipment or anything like that?
Not in this particular.
One of my traits lets me have a higher maximum rig, but it doesn't give me a rig bonus. So that's a later benefit. Okay. And I'm not gathering info through clandestine observation or attempt to bypass traps or security measures, correct? Just random question.
Asking for a friend.
Well,
yeah.
You are trying to bypass
not
security measures, right?
Well, technically right now you're just figuring out if you can integrate your information with their information to make this work. To do like basic programming on the mechs while they are semi online.
Yeah, I've got 1-6.
Awesome. So you are able to, it works. It is a, like, you power up a mech that has been sitting in their workshop. And it's like your tester bot. And you are able to get it to perform basic tasks without the and take the rest of the weapon capability of the mech offline.
Okay. Oh, awesome.
So that is amazing and further than they have been able to get in months. The downside is it's an intensive process. Figuring it out, doing it, making sure all the weapons are gone is taking a while. And currently, because of the weapons capabilities and how individualized they are to different types of mechs, you need to be on the team that reprograms them. So I'm going to say during the course of the day that you are able to get 2 mechs to respond to your commands. And through linking up with them through Raven, they will, they could be kind of like muscly backup.
Sure. Yeah.
Like they're not gonna do complex maneuvers,
Yeah.
but
And they
go
are
in,
just
like,
automatons, right? Like these aren't like semi-intelligent beings,
Nope.
like
No.
emergent AI or anything. Yeah.
No,
Okay.
this is like I have a toaster.
Yeah. Great. I don't want to. I can't like bring a being online and then use it as a shield.
I have a robot shield now.
Yeah.
The robot emancipation proclamations have that was like a terrible joke. Sorry. I've watched too much South Park. But yes, these are toasters.
Great.
Then I'm going to cut to Wolf and Jinx, I'm actually going to retcon this a little bit and say that like while Valkyrie was on her way to meet up with these engineers, that it's in the same kind of direction. It's kind of almost like y'all dropped her off at school with a bunch of bags of beignets. And then you continue on past and head deeper into the warehouse district on kind of the border between the warehouse district and the garden district.
How many people are out and about?
As you get further and further away from the quarter, further and further away from the center of the city, there's a lot less activity going on.
Okay.
There's still people, there's still a lot of like scavenging and things like that. You can tell that like the stuff out here, people want it, they want to use it, but they're not living out here. There's not like offices and stuff out here. It's just much more of a warehouse, like half abandoned feel.
Which the two of us, I think, both naturally path along the less dense route.
We take the road less traveled by, and it makes all the difference.
At least to commuter traffic.
When you get to the coordinates, you see kind of a like smallish building. It looks like it might have been an offshoot of a larger warehouse, but the larger warehouse has collapsed or, been taken out somehow. So it's just kind of standing there next to a little bit of a crater. And there is not a lot of cover around this building. It's more because of the hole next to it, and the other buildings around are like broken out windows. And when you peek inside, you see that the scavengers have definitely claimed everything that they could. The walls are ripped open. Copper wiring has been ripped out of them. Insulation, anything that they could try to use, they have been. The other thing that you see was that this at one point, the Lost did come through here. You don't know necessarily, you don't feel like get the sense that they're still in close proximity. If nothing else, just because there are other people around here, kind of. Not many, but people aren't running screaming, therefore the Lost aren't currently here.
Wolf would like to use his ability to sense where are the closest clutch of Lost and what is the highest possible strength in that clutch.
You sense them kind of off to the west.
Okay.
And I mean, it feels like a moderate pulse. It's not unheard of for there to be
Yeah.
enclaves of them, but you are
Yeah,
not
yeah.
actually close enough to tell
Right.
like what the specific highest
Okay.
rank of the lost would be. They're
Okay.
not in the immediate vicinity now.
Okay. This is not a good place to stay for long.
Then we'll do a quick wrap around and then get back to poor Brood. I don't mind us having done it, but we shouldn't let him alone for too long. Who knows what they'll muck about with in there.
You looked good last night. I'm sorry I didn't come back. Something came up.
We should check that area over there. See if there's high traffic.
Yeah.
You saw me?
We both know I saw you. Of course I saw you.
Why do you follow?
When don't I?
When it counts. May I roll to see what I see for this sort of like investigation?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. See, what's that here? What do we call investigation?
Research, insight and research.
All right. Well,
Or scout.
research.
I mean, if Wolf wants to make a scout roll,
Yep. Scout.
I mean, I can't imagine why he would want to do something like scout things.
Yeah, not really his shtick. Not my shtick right now. I am definitely playing at seeing things, not seeing things. That was a grand 3.
You get the overwhelming impression of kind of a you get hit by a wave of like old emotion almost, but it's not emotion as you normally experience it as a regular living, breathing humanoid creature, so much as it is just a wave of hunger. Like when you encounter a set of lost, and it's like an echo or a pocket of what was once here.
Jinx.
They were lost here.
I know.
They're not now.
I know. Are you okay?
It was a lot easier when this was just for. I let the purple static build up into a bit of a ball and it out toward a wall or something. This is different and I don't like it.
You can stop if you want. We can do this the old way. Just
Not good for
with our
anything else
eyes.
now, am I? This is what I signed up for then, and it was necessary then, and it's still here now. Did this to myself. So we're going to make the best of it now, aren't we?
if we're gonna compete for self-pity, you're gonna lose. Jesse,
to
I know you. And I say Jesse.
We should compete. Then I'd know you felt something. Right, arse.
If Jinx would like to ping something, that cut Wolf real deep. But I'll let Sam decide what
I
they
mean, you
want to
tell
do.
me what's in the ambient. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
it's passive perception versus active, right?
I think
So if
it's
something is enough that I would
yeah,
pick it
yeah,
up on
yeah.
passive, let me know. Like, you know,
There's
it's
like
like
a
narrating any sensory detail, right?
there's like there's a bubbling up of like, ooh, if we start now, everything comes out.
Jinx looks like they're winding up.
Yeah. um I think this is the equivalent of emotionally rolling for initiative. Like,
Sure seems that way.
yeah, there's something about when you said, and maybe then you would feel something, or I'm
Yeah.
paraphrasing, but yeah, that stirred something huge in Wolf. And it's all just, he's just standing there. Like, it's a stance of, you've seen him in this kind of stance before, where this is where he's getting ready for like a fight, but this time it's not a fight, it's more like he's prepared to get emotionally vulnerable for the first time, and he's like bracing himself, but he's not running away from it.
Oh. Please hold. Okay, okay. What? You mean to be implying you have had any sort of feeling of any kind since you left us? I should hope it was regret.
That was the main characteristic when I left, yeah. But my feelings started in Berlin. We can get this done. We don't have to talk.
Not talking is what did all this in the first place. I don't have to tell you
Jinx,
about cauterizing a wound. Up to your arm.
I've been your Overwatch for years. And last night I saw something I never saw in you. I saw a part of you that the war took away from all of us. It was a chance to live some kind of life. Just an ounce of something happy, something not this. And it looked good on you.
And I wanted to find it with my whole squad. I wanted you to be there when I found it. Not hiding away with me. But you left. I told you I needed you, and you left anyway.
I did.
So fuck Berlin and fuck you.
I won't stop being your Overwatch. I just can't watch you with them. Any other time, any other place, I'm there. I just can't watch you with them. And that's why I didn't come back last night. I should have just told you.
Wolf, you aren't always my Overwatch. You're where you think you need to be. Where was my Overwatch when I got this? You're running after. You're running whatever you think makes you feel something. But it sure as hell isn't for my sake.
Fair enough.
I'd like to spend a point of focus. Find something around here.
I rolled the 6 on my scout.
Oh yeah, there we go. There's that. There's our deflection.
What you notice is that You okay?
Go ahead.
The building
Wolf's
is
heart.
actually, yeah, I know, right? Just it was all of us, all of our hearts during that scene. As the two of you break apart and Wolf scouts out the building, and you realize that it isn't. Jesus Christ, that is the largest fly I've ever seen in my life. Okay. Sorry. So big. It isn't as abandoned as you first thought. There have been some reinforcements made to it, but also there is no way that the black market could exist in this particular building.
Mm-hmm.
This is a waypoint. It's
Okay.
just too small.
Yeah.
It's also a little too on the beaten path. As you look around and you've been through and you're like, yeah, there's not many people, but there's still
Right.
people. People work here.
Yeah. Okay.
So the building's not going to fall down on you. You're reasonably sure that the Lost aren't going to pop out on you here. But you're absolutely certain that the black market isn't actually in this location.
We were looking for, we won't find here.
But I will say if you want to spend a point of focus here, because the way that we used this last time was more on people, that you're going to get a sense of like almost like a fast forward impression of small groups of people moving through the space.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested in that post-cognitive. Clearly, like I could get some post-cognitive vibes. I love that band from the area. So the notion of trying to like tune that like an AM radio to see the movement to some secondary location along a particular sort of emotional frequency vibe. Anticipatory, probably. Maybe a little bit of apprehension.
It's anticipatory and like hard. The impression that you get is one of like business like
Is it sharks in the water kind
emotional
of vibe?
detachment, but yeah, it's a little bit like sharks in the water. But it's not actively violent here usually, since the lost got cleared out, but it is on the precipice of violence.
Can I feel the current?
It's moving along to the west, but you don't get enough of a sense of like where people are going from there. It dissipates like once you exit the building itself. There's enough crisscrossing other,
There's too much
like
everything.
it's just like
There's actual human people with actual human emotions, and look, there's strong signal interference coming from right behind me. Okay, that's all.
So you're saying the signal is lost?
No, you can't stop the signal.
But do y'all want to attempt to explore out further, or do you want to regroup? It's getting, I'm gonna say, towards afternoonish. If you want to go back and regroup in order to meet your contact, maybe you think here. Then
we should be picking up Brood. We would get a better result if we knew something about the secondary location.
When we know this isn't it for sure. If the lost were here, that means the lost can come back, even if they're far away now. We should get back.
Very well. Find out what on earth happened to poor Brood.
And on that, we will cut to Brood in the morning. Breakfast is over, and you are contacting Rashmi Bachchan from the Templars?
Yep. The first thing I do want to do is just ask, did Wolf eat any of the waffle goop? Or did he ignore it?
He ate half.
Okay. Oh, okay. Excellent.
Oh, that doesn't tell you anything.
No, it tells me he ate some of it, which I kind of didn't expect. So that's a win. So yes, I put away the dishes and I get everything set, and then yes, I'm off to meet the Templars.
Great. Well, you contact Rashmi, and she is obviously surprised to hear from you. But it's not exactly what we expected or necessarily what we most needed, but I will meet you at the council offices if you would like to discuss further things.
Excellent. I'll see you there in 20.
Sure. And when you come in, I mean, she's in her office. It's kind of crackly.
Like psychically crackly?
Yeah. You get this feeling around like it's like instead of your hair standing on end from static electricity, like your emotions stand on end. Like kind of just like a of everything.
Okay.
And Rashmi is there. She's speaking quietly with another Templar. And you just catch the tail end of kind of a as the power wills it shall be. Before the Templar leaves. What exactly did you want to talk about?
Well, you had mentioned that you had certain resources that were available, and I'm trying to coordinate the best way for all of our various factions to have the same sort of interest. So I wanted to speak with you about how we can help you and how you can help us and how we can all help the city. And I understand that's been an ongoing project for you here on the council, but uh, given your unique perspective, I thought it would be wise to discuss this more in private, as it might provide us with some more in-depth discussion of our various strengths and areas where we feel most competent.
Well, I mean, as you obviously know already, that the one among you called Jinx, who has been blessed to tap into the power that drives life on this planet and will allow us to beat off the false gods should ever they reappear, and the minions of the false gods as they continue to show themselves, did say that they had a way to detect chrysalid hives before they erupted. But you wouldn't obviously be able to teach us those particular methods.
Not I know, but I know that they are working on that and a way of sharing that sort of knowledge. In your time here, how have you been dealing with the chrysalids? Anything proactive, or has it just been response based?
We patrol, and yes, it is mostly response based, but thanks to the Templars' channeling of the power that has been given to us by the earth, we were able to root out multiple nests, including a viper nest.
For those of us who don't know, is that a special high level chrysalid, or is that
Nope.
something else?
It's a completely different type of enemy. They're giant snakes.
Oh,
They're
okay.
big old snakes.
Just like it says on the can. Got it.
They're like the Naga.
Yeah. They're big snakes and they're venomous bit, and they can pull you in with their tongues and squeeze you to death.
Okay. Intelligent?
Some of them are
Okay.
in this world. Not all of them are. And by
Gotcha.
this world, I mean the one I'm making for this actual play.
Impressive. Did they appear to have any long-term plans, or did it just look like it was a new nest?
In that case, it was a regression. As I'm sure you have been aware, that once the false gods neural network was taken offline by your commander, many of the creatures that the elders, or many of the creatures that the false gods had,
Cultivated?
that's a good word for it, had cultivated from the dirt, have returned to it. Which, on one hand, is a healing of the earth. And on another hand, means that while their intelligence has decreased or fled entirely in some cases, their physical attributes have not. So no, I didn't stop to ask the pit of 8-foot-tall vipers whether they had long-term plans before we eradicated them.
Well, I didn't think that you had. I just, if there was evidence of an intelligence or a plan behind the way they were acting, that's valuable information for us. Don't you agree?
It could be.
And Brood bristles just a little bit, like, yeah, I'm not an idiot.
And at that, actually, like, Rashmi smiles a little bit. But truly, outside of what we had already discussed and what Jinx has already promised us, what are you looking for? Why come to me when you could have gone to someone a little bit more like yourself?
I apologize. I'm not familiar with your ways. Was that an insult?
No, it was a question. The Templars are who we are. We also are not stupid. And we know that those people who have not been blessed with the power of the earth can find us uncomfortable, off-putting.
That's not why.
Yeah. I've been taught never to lie to a psychic. So clearly, I'm not going to tell you that I'm not uncomfortable or affected by your aura and your information. That should be clear to you as well as it would be to Jinx. However, I will tell you that it is my duty and responsibility to coordinate all efforts here. And I'm not taking charge and I'm not belittling anything that you or anyone else on the council has done. I just wanted to get a better idea of how you're operating and how we can help you and how you can help us outside of the council chambers, which, let's be honest, we all know are dominated by politics. So despite my discomfort, I thought it best to arrange a meeting so that we can get a feel for each other. If I
appreciate your honesty and your forthrightness. You know, you are not my type, so I would prefer less. Not to. I figure it's best to be blunt in these situations. But truly, I appreciate what you are attempting to do. But when you say,
but you may not like my type, but I don't think you can deny that we have something to bring to the table and that we have had some effectiveness in the past.
Sorry. I just love how Brute just innuendo, just singing by at all times.
Sort of outuendo.
Yes. Which is why we are a member of the council, and although you say that you are not trying to take charge, let me give you this piece of advice. There is always a person or a group that needs to step forward to lead. The council leads the city, representing different interests. From what I gather, your group lacks a leader.
And Bird's eye twitches a little at that.
And that's not a position that can stay open forever.
I think you'll find that our effectiveness is not diminished by the lack of a leader, as you say. The four of us work together well. We know what our jobs are, and we know how to be effective in our areas of expertise. if you feel that we're lacking a leader, as you define it, well, I apologize, but what we have is what we have to work with. So if you need any help with another pit of 8-foot vipers or a chrysalid attack, you know that we will be at your back. We're here to help, and I know that sounds facetious, but it is in fact true for now. And I think that we've both had a measure of each other, and I don't think I need to take up any more of your time.
Oh, thank you for stopping by. And I'm sure that I'll be seeing more of you and your squad in the future.
Undoubtedly. And I give a kind of half salute and turn around and leave.
And you hear, like, right before you turn around, it's like, may the power of Earth protect you.
And also you.
So I'm going to say that most of this has taken up a good chunk of your day. And we are going to fast forward a little bit to just before the meeting time. And also that since we have gotten through all this, it is a really good time for a break. So we're going to take a quick 5 so we can all go pee, because I think I'm not the only one that has to. And then when we come back, we are going to see exactly where all of this clandestine meeting waypoint, what that might all be about, maybe.
Okay.
And
well,
if anyone could ever actually successfully hit on Brood, or not hit on Brood,
The biggest mystery.
the overarching mystery. But
I
either
will
way.
assist.
it's a high level
wingman Brood.
challenge. That's the yeah.
I'll be
all
your
right,
wing
I'm gonna take
friend.
us to our pause screen. Everyone do a stretch, whatever you need to get, and we will be right back. Hello.
Welcome back. For those of you just joining us, we are playing XCOM Phoenix Squad, a Band of Blades actual play set in the XCOM universe. And our team has gone off and kind of gone their separate ways, had emotional revelations, got a couple of mech backup bots, and is now about to reconvene and set off possibly to go to find a black market.
Also, I double checked the art. This is important. Oh, I have to double back on this. Valkyrie has like a shoulder length sandy blonde situation, not the pixie cut. The important detail. I figured everyone wanted to know that update. So
it's a very important update. So y'all are all together in the, we'll say you regrouped at your apartment / barracks. And it's about an hour before the time indicated by Mama for y'all to meet at a place that is definitely not the black market, but it is a way station.
Since I think that Brood was probably done first, can I do one quick thing at the apartment?
Mm-hmm.
I want to make a roll to see if I can rig up the doorknob that broke off so that it's fixed. This isn't a skill that I have, and I think that it's a skill that Sunshine probably had. And so I'm just trying to
like a mechanical aptitude.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like I have no points in rig. But I do have one insight, so I'm gonna roll a die.
And hey, there's a table with a bunch of screwdrivers and shit on it, so
True.
What could go wrong?
And, tell you what, I will give you an extra die. If you tell us about the time that Sunshine taught you how to fix something on the adventure.
So here's what I think. I think that Sunshine noticed that a lot of my gear was basically held together with granny knots and not appropriately done with quick clips or using sort of the Alice system that like combat gear and stuff has. It was just sort of haphazardly tied on.
Mm-hmm.
And he took an afternoon to kind of walk me through all of the actual ways that stuff could be used, how it's more efficient, how I didn't have to like sit there and pick apart a knot every time I wanted to get something off on there. And so altogether, I think that was a way that he was just showing me the ropes of how to keep my gear in good and usable shape.
Mm-hmm.
And that applied to everything. Like not that we were like a spit and polish yes sir no sir type of organization, but there's a reason that there are codes and why things need to get polished and why you need to oil the hinges on things and those sort of lessons. And I think he's applying that to trying to fix this doorknob with just like, in my mind, he's kind of got the Sunshine voice in the back of his head, doing all the things like righty tighty lefty loosey, or make sure that the doorknob turns both ways. Just like all those little tips that he's trying to keep in mind.
Like, don't repair the knob from the outside and then lock yourself out.
Right. or in.
Or in.
No, please lock yourself in Jinx's room, please.
Well, since my best is a 3, that's entirely possible.
It's a drawer. You still won't manage it, but
So you're fixing this knob, and Everything seems to be going great. And then you get like just that screw is stripped. You're like, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. And it will not. It is stuck. It's usable, but it is stuck in this weird halfway position between fully screwed on and falling off.
So there's like a half moon cutout where it's not where you kind of see through it, but the knob is there.
Well,
like
it's
just rotated down a little bit.
It's the drawer. Like it was the drawer that they slammed.
Oh, okay.
So what should have been a really easy fix took a little bit longer than you thought. It's now stuck. You could try to take the whole thing apart, but right at that moment when you are like, oh, that it's not gonna go on and it's not gonna come off, is when Jinx returns.
Oh, hey,
May I help you?
your drawer. I was just trying to
Trying to do what?
just the handle, trying to fix the handle. Just it's working.
Now, what in the sky screaming hell made you think that that was the thing you were needed or requested to do?
Well, I was taught that you have to keep your gear in good shape, and that even small repairs can become big jobs if you let them. And I had a little time on my hands, and I thought that I would just
Shut
try to
up.
be useful.
I'm going to stand and block that doorway for a good 20 seconds,
I
looking
can
down,
make it- I
not
can
saying anything.
I can unfix it if you want.
I hug you now.
Oh. There's a moment of shock and surprise, and then my arms go around you and give you a big hug as well.
That was very kind of you. Thank you. Your shirt is wet now.
Hey, we're a team, right?
They dive back into the hug. Your shirt's wetter now.
Can I pitch something that
Mhm.
Sunshine's saying was we fix it so we don't need it? If you don't fix it, then you're gonna need it.
Right.
Could be something else too.
Oh, I like it.
No, I like it. Or I'm gonna twist it just a little bit. And what I say in the hug is we fix it because we need it. And I think that, like, out of character, I think that goes for all of us as well. But it's just wanted to, help out where I can.
Get out of my fucking room. I'm still hugging you for what that's worth. Never go through my stuff again. I'll flay you to pieces.
I promise I didn't look at anything.
There's nothing to bloody look at. What? You think I keep a little pink diary under my bed? Get out. Swat your arm lightly.
I'm going.
You're really going to go to a black market looking like that? I slammed the door shut, and I'm just gonna put my hand on that old drawer knob
rickety ass doorknob.
It's not. Look, it's never about the dishes.
Right. No, I
It's
get
not
it.
about the doorknob.
So as we get ready, as y'all get ready to go, I do want to know, speaking of, are you going to go looking like that? How are y'all suiting up for this escapade out to the black market?
Well, so I'm me personally, Nick, I'm a little bit confused. Meeting with Mama is happening at the black market and not where like the Reapers wanted to meet up with.
The Reapers
Because
told
if
you to get in
it's-
touch with Mama.
Mhm.
You found a note in your pocket from someone signed Mama, giving you coordinates and a time. When
that- Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Wolf and Jinx scouted it, they realized it was a waypoint. So you can draw your own conclusions, but the most logical conclusion is that rather than a meet specifically with Mama, what that contact gave you was like the where to go to find the market. It isn't the market itself, but you could go, and this is where people go to get there.
Okay.
It's traveling, but this is a place where people go to find out where it is.
This is where we find the guy that knows the guy.
We have to find the invisible swordsman who will take
Yeah.
us to the bandits camp.
You have to find the ferryman.
Has anyone been giving Valkyrie shit about her algorithmic clothing choices, or has she not gotten any like negative feedback about that?
I want to say that since you've been hanging out with a bunch of weird techs, you probably have gotten zero feedback and probably feel vindicated that it is in fact
Yeah,
correct.
I only mean in our group. Like, is everyone rolling their eyes when she, like what is the feedback that she would get from that?
Oh, you would expect Jinx to speak their mind, but they haven't the heart. And it's funny.
Yeah, I think Wolf is very much like Val needs the win.
And I think that Brood hasn't quite picked up on the fact that it's not quite right yet.
I mean, it went super well for you yesterday.
Exactly. That's what I'm
Oh.
saying.
So
Oh no.
However, I do think that because I think that we're intending on meeting with Mama, or at least something like that, that we should be going dressed in more potentially battle appropriate clothing. Maybe not like the full heavy load, but at least know that we want people to look at us and go like, oh, these aren't people you can just knock over. And in case we are meeting the Reapers, we don't want to look like idiots to them either.
And if the conclusion they take away from seeing a bunch of XCOM is that XCOM's corrupt, fine. It's fine if they know what we are and make some false conclusions about it, why we're there. Better to look tough.
I'd rather think that they were. I'd rather they think that we're corrupt than incompetent.
I mean, it's not the first time we've had to deal with a black market.
Look, we needed it, okay? Will you ever give that up?
I'm just saying, this black market is not equal corruption. It's how you use it.
All the more so. We'll be ourselves.
Wolf is in his room taking off the clothing that was complementary to Jinx's outfit. He packs it away because he's not going to need that outfit again. And he puts on his light armor and his cloak and his old original concept art helmet, the one with the crack and a bullet hole.
Oh no, you You heard all of the. No, it's fine.
Brood is wearing fatigues and armor, but anything that was on a like a Velcro patch, like any sort of insignia, he's stripped off.
I think Valkyrie's trench coat that she has in the art, is reversible. Like she can pull it inside out, and it's more of just like a dark gray. And she puts a hoodie under there. I think because she's got light hair, she's used to like needing to cover that, and so, yeah, kind of duster, with a light hoodie, like a black hoodie under it, but lightweight. And like an obvious sidearm on her, like a thigh holster, because sometimes deterrence is better than needing to use it. And yeah, but Reaper cosplay, without the mask and all that. But yeah, she's and without all of her, like, she has like a whole gear harness when it's time to go for real with like all kinds of kits and meds and everything that we would need. So without all of that, but yeah, the night mode of her her typical gear outfit.
While Wolf is in dark mode, quite different.
Yeah.
And
I think Wolf only has dark mode and very dark mode, so
Yeah.
It's dark mode and Vanta black mode.
Yeah.
Jinx is like Brood, patches off gear. They'll have perhaps a sidearm somewhere or other, but perhaps the more notable is that they aren't. I think one can suppress the visual signs of psi energy around you, kind of like suppressing ticks. It doesn't work forever, and sometimes it doesn't even work. And there's always like, a bit of a cue. Blinking in one case, purple eyes in the other. But in this case, they just sort of don't. They aren't going in the most heavily armed. But people get to know what they're working with.
Okay. So as you head out and back over, you make your way back over to this warehouse district. The streets here are much clearer than they were. You wouldn't say necessarily deserted, but other people would call them deserted. And as you approach this warehouse, this building, there's flickers of light inside, obvious movement. Jinx, you can tell, like, in terms of like ambient, unshielded mines, there are people in this vicinity, but not a lot. It's not like a major thoroughfare in this, but it is a center of activity. And you walk in, and there is a person there wearing full Reaper gear. As you walk into the building, they step out from the shadows. First, you see the light they've allowed to reflect off their goggles, and then slowly come out more and more. In a voice that is disguised. Glad you finally decided to show up.
oh, we couldn't resist such an invitation.
The market moves, as I'm sure you inferred before. Tonight, they've taken over a section in the Garden District. I'm glad that you came armed because I feel that you're going to need it. But we can't stay here for long. I've timed this so that the ferry master is currently occupied otherwise.
Well then, lead the way.
Keep your eyes sharp.
What kind of trouble are you expecting?
Reapers are always ready for trouble.
Apologies. Have we come across the term ferry master before?
No.
No. Okay.
You get the sense that it's like from what
Sure.
Wolf
I could get some
and-
context clues there, but
Yeah,
I'm just curious.
but it's not somebody you've like it's like that is it might be a little weird
Sure.
and pretentious.
Yeah. I love it.
Fairy Master has the biggest, shiniest wings.
Mm.
Fairy Master has the largest pole. But yeah. So the Reaper starts to lead you back into the back streets, through the rest of the warehouse district, across St. Charles, deeper into the garden district. You've been traveling about 15, 20 minutes. That's just like a ways out now. Wolf, as you walk, you're getting much more of a sense of like the lost are closer and closer. These are parts of the city that have been abandoned for actually quite some time. And no one has made a move to actually reclaim them.
Wolf is going to look around and look for burn marks. He's wondering if Advent purifiers have been around because they used to corral all the lost. Can I make a scout, or can I just
yeah,
kind of
do it.
intuit? It's probably not the case, but that's the first thing in Wolf's mind right now. 5 is my highest.
You see some older scorch marks,
Mm,
but nothing that you're seeing like is the sense that people have come through here recently
okay.
to clean them out.
So, okay. There hasn't been a purifier squad around here, from what I can
No.
tell. Okay.
From what you can tell, there hasn't been a purifier squad around here for quite some time.
Thank you, GM.
But the further out you go, the more this sense of the lost, the abandonment, and everything. And your guide looks, I mean, they're going. They give nothing away, like in facial expressions or in tone of voice, obviously. But their steps become a little quicker. They're keeping a little bit more to the shadows. And you start to hear a distant noise of shuffling, of breaking. So it's a little bit ominous, I would say.
Wolf draws his sword but does not ignite the blade.
I look around at the Phoenix Squad and low voice say formation, and I'm implying that with the Reaper sort of as the point that we should be. In my head, it's Wolf to the right and a little behind, Brood to the left a little behind, and then Jinx and Val sort of in between the two of us and behind us a little bit. So sort of like
kind of a
modified
diamond shape.
Yeah.
And just as y'all like you say this, move into formation, the Reaper looks over their shoulder a little bit, nods. And just as you cross another major thoroughfare, the noise is getting louder, but it's still like not centralized. You can't actually pick up exactly where it is. Then there's a sudden scratching, like boots scuffing from the building that you're next to. And a person drops down from the building next to you. As you look over there, you see someone, dark clothes, they've blacked out their face. They've got night goggles on. Almost looks like they would be a Reaper, but twisted. And as you look to that person, there are two more noises to the left of you. And a scraping noise of something across the pavement in the darkness behind you.
Vibe check.
It's bad. They would like to murder you.
Contact.
Wolf's gonna shout over to the Reaper. What is this?
Ambush.
Did you bring us here for this?
No. But it's good to know that alliances are built on trust still. And the Reaper turns to you. This was not me, but I'm not the only one who knows that people are going to the black market tonight.
Can we handle this and talk about it later?
What's the Twisted Reaper? Is it just running at us, or does it seem to be holding back or anything?
The Twisted Reaper actually pulls out a blade that emits electrical sparks. So whereas you would normally expect a Reaper, like a normal Reaper, would be carrying a long rifle,
Yeah.
stick to the high ground, this person is hand-to-hand combat. As you see, like, as you look to the left, the other two aren't dressed quite the same. They're not this like weird parody of a Reaper, but they have rifles. They are, as soon as they land, they come up and take aim at the Reaper in front of you.
Get the high ground. We'll cover you, then you cover us. And I will start shooting at the ones with the rifle, trusting Wolf to take care of the Twisted Reaper.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to immediately turn to like looking for fire escape, which are usually plentiful in the video game.
Or a nice
And-
pole you can shimmy up.
And there is one to the right, which you're guessing is where the Twisted Reaper jumped down from in the first place.
Sure. So I'm gonna look at that and then look at Jinx and just put my boost hands, like, let's, shall we?
I accept the boost, reach my hand downward, pull her up.
Yeah. Follow up and draw my handgun.
Charging up psychic ability.
The two enemies on your left fire at the Reaper in front of you. But
Wolf would now like to invoke his like the wind
okay.
and see if he can interrupt that. Roll skirmish, maybe?
I am gonna say that you you're not going to be able to engage them both that way.
Sure.
But basically, you can roll skirmish
Yeah.
and it will sorry, words. You'll be able to throw off their aim.
Yeah. I just want to give them something else to be concerned with.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. I have 3 6s.
Well
Whoa.
then.
They're cordially invited to get fucked.
3
Basically.
6s and 2 1s.
Engraved an
polarized.
invitation, didn't you?
So as you see them, like, they scan your group, they take aim at the Reaper, and just as they are about to let loose a volley of fire, you run up to them with your weapon.
Yeah.
And in a move that should be more like the Matrix than XCOM, you actually deflect their shots with your blade.
Hell yeah.
One of them
Rock and
gets
roll.
nicked by the ricochet of the bullet back. And they are not only like startled, but definitely were not expecting this kind of resistance. They are shook.
Mind if I cut in?
Holy shit, he's becoming a comedian.
Well, let's give them something to laugh about ourselves. May I cast Fortress on the 2? Or actually, as many of them as I can get.
Okay, when you attack a group of you can use Fortress to attack both of the enemies that Wolf is currently engaged with.
Lovely. So I rolled Focus to attack here.
In this case, yeah.
Focus.
And
Oh, I only got the 1 6. I'm not nearly as cool as Wolf, but I did get it on both of them, so they can still suck it.
So as you project this beam of energy down to them, it envelops both of them. Like, the way I'm seeing it, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that it like splits when it gets to Wolf's back, almost like a river running around a rock, and then converges back on the 2 enemies in front of him. And they both drop their weapons and grab their temples. For just a moment, they are in incredible pain.
Perfect. Especially since Wolf sees it coming right for him, but splits like the Red Sea. Just to slam on into them. And Val, Jinx is back in their element.
Yeah.
It's been the hottest of moments.
Yeah, there's just like a low with that impressed whistle of shit, Jinx. But Val is like has her arm on the railing and is like trying to steady her revolver to try and get a shot on maybe one of the ones that's reeling, because that is going to be easier to hit.
Okay. So
Is that shoot?
yes.
Okay. I only get 3 dice for that, but that's okay. Ah. Oh, I just crashed my dice. Okay.
Can't believe we've done this.
Are fives anything?
They're
They are
partials.
mixed successes.
Oh, okay. I got 2 5s and a 3. So
Great. So you hit the one on the left. But you can tell that the bulk of the impact of your pistol shot is absorbed by whatever armor that they're wearing.
okay.
So they take the hit, but it doesn't do a whole lot.
All right.
You can't tell if you don't see any blood coming out of it or anything. You don't know if it went all the way through, but they definitely felt the impact.
Sure. I'm gonna just key our comms and say, almost sort of voce, body armor center mass.
Brood says a quick fuck as Wolf runs forward instead of covering our flank, and spins 90 degrees and takes shots at the sword wielding lost. And that is highest is a 5.
Cool. So as you take the few shots at this person, you notice that they move very quickly. And so they're able to dodge some of your shots, but you do manage to hit them in the arm. And it does focus their attention on you.
All right.
And they raise their weapon and charge at you. So I'm going to say that they are going to attack and you can resist.
Okay.
Using your, like, let's use a resist prowess roll as like a dodge mechanic.
Okay. And so that's just all of my prowess dice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like your base prowess without a
Okay. I'm just trying to decide if I want to use a point of grit here. But I have 4 dice, and I feel pretty good about that, so I'm not going to yet. We'll see how I feel in a minute. Two 6s.
No. Well, do you want to? So it's a critical success. I'm gonna say, and you can add to it if you want to. As this person comes forward, charges you, lifts up their blade, and there's like you can see the point in their arm where your shot went through.
Mm-hmm.
And in a combination of a move that Sunshine taught you while grappling early in your career, you use the stock of your rifle to deflect their blade and come around with it almost like a club to hit them directly in that point that you shot them. And their arm falls down. Deadened.
What? Like detached?
Nope. Like
okay.
Like a
Goes limp.
limp. Yes, sorry.
Okay, got it.
I was like,
got it.
I
their
was about
arm
to ask
falls
the same
down.
thing.
Punched his arm off.
Limp and useless. Like you have broken some muscle connections and possibly that bone. Probably that bone.
The chin touch is so good.
And the rub.
Wasn't the touch, it was the claws.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
I mean-
like, oh, come on.
That's all part of the touch.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh,
Hey, are we fighting now? What are we doing?
Okay, but to
Cool.
get back to the to the combat, I'm sorry, I got so distracted by the void. So, the two being like the two enemies next to Wolf have sustained some damage. You can tell they dropped their rifles and really like you're not quite sure what the impact of Jinx's hit was,
Mm,
but it was bad.
okay. Wolf's gonna kick their weapons away from them. And then turn his attention to the other person that has a toy that I would like to play against with my sword.
What did the Reaper do?
The Reaper has sorry, I forgot. That was the thing I was controlling. So the Reaper is going to actually like grapple up to like in a weird Batman move. Grapples up to the high ground and kind of whisper yells down at you like, I'll cover your backs. And he's keeping out an eye behind you
Cool.
at the moment. Since you do seem to have this well in hand at the moment.
He's on Overwatch.
mhm.
Yes, your Reaper went on Overwatch.
Great.
So yeah, you kick the weapons away.
I kick the weapons away. I'm not gonna focus too much on them right now. I'm more concerned with the other active threat, which is somebody with a sword is coming after my boy, and that's not gonna happen. I would like to introduce myself, please.
Mhm.
Unless
So
anyone else has an action, I don't want to take up all the.
just to make sure I've got the mental image here is down in the street, we've got the Twisted Reaper and these other two goons. But that's it for enemies as of right now.
As of right now, you did hear a noise behind you.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I will say is with these 2, 3, 4 bursts of gunfire that have gone through, the wolf senses, and you all know that loud noises attract the lost.
Well, explosions attract the lost.
Explosions definitely attract the lost, but also
I know.
echoey loud noises can attract the lost.
It was always funny in the video game, like a grenade will attract them, but not sustained minigun fire.
It has mini right there in the name. What do you expect?
Right.
Yep, you got me. You got me on that one.
I have silencers on my Gatling gun.
Yeah. Just eight of them on the
That
end of
makes
the
it quiet.
On each barrel.
But anyway, yeah, Wolf, go for it. Sorry, I just want to make sure I had the image.
I'm gonna run up with the sword, ignite my blade, which is a hot plasma blue, and just be like, "Let's dance, motherfucker."
Okay, so you are going to attack the
Skirmish. Yeah.
All right, roll it for me.
I think I can do better. I would like to take stress and re-roll. Is that how that works?
I don't remember.
I think it was you can use stress to push yourself and get an extra die.
Okay. I would like to do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you only get 2 6s this time?
I only had 5s. I want a 6.
Oh, well.
With this many dice, I should get at least 1. That's better. I got my 6.
Great. So you go and you engage the this sword wielding anti-reaper in combat, and they are obviously not at their best. They're one
Yeah.
arm down in useful, like
Yeah.
in use, and they are attempting to like parry with the one blade,
Okay.
but instead of it holding, they can't quite hold against your blade with the one arm.
Mm-hmm.
And so the blade dips
Mm.
and they try to pivot out of the way, but don't quite make it. And so they take a slash from your blade
Mm.
right across the same arm on the same side that they aren't able to use their arm.
Okay.
And you open up a wound that cauterizes itself as your blade passes
Mhm,
through.
mhm, mhm.
But they are obviously quite injured.
Okay. At this range, do I get a sense that this thing is lost or
No,
is
it is not a
okay?
lost. And you
Okay.
see it as your blade opens up that
Okay.
it's not a lost, but it also doesn't quite move like a regular human.
Right. Does it remind me of any enemies I've encountered in my long years of service to XCOM?
Not yet.
Okay. Cool.
As your blade passes through them, they let out a scream. And the Reaper from above calls down to you and says, "Incoming, Zerker."
No.
And the Reaper is actually going to take a shot at this Berserker. Who would like to roll for that?
God.
For the NPC that I have given y'all to assist in this situation.
I could do it. How many dice do they get?
They're going to get, that's a prowess, 4 dice.
Right.
They spend a point of aim or anything?
Well, they got a 6.
They got a 6. So you hear in the back behind you, coming out of the darkness, a roar of anger, a little bit of pain, mostly anger. And the Reaper asks, it's like, it'll be worse, but I do have a claymore. We might be trading one problem for another.
We bring the lost any closer, they might head towards the city. We can't risk that.
Understood.
Do you need to fall back?
I will watch from above, provide what assistance I can.
How do we have an idea of how close we are to the black market?
I would say you're probably a few blocks away at this point.
Okay.
You should have been most of the way there, maybe another 10 minutes of travel before you got there.
So they can probably hear the gunfire?
Possibly.
Assuming it's not, there isn't a rave going on.
Or assuming that they can just hear it and that they care.
True.
Yeah, it's probably not the first night they've heard gunfire in the city.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And especially if they are like, as they are tonight, in next door to pockets of the lost.
Pooja, I didn't really establish this in the beginning. Would I have needed to leave Raven at home for this trip to make sense? Would it have been weird to be going in there with a gremlin?
I'm going to say since y'all decided to not conceal your XCOM-ness, that it's up to you. Would you have wanted to bring Raven into this, or
Well,
you
I
said
would
you
have
didn't
wanted to
bring your
have it
whole...
up, like just keeping a lookout on auto follow,
Mhm.
hoping not to need it, but you know, I also know it's a risk. Like I didn't say it ahead of time. It's like
It's part of your kit, so like I don't have a problem with you bringing it. Like you don't have to specifically say like, because Raven is you are in essence the specialist.
yeah.
So unless y'all were going like undercover and you didn't want people to know you were XCOM, in which case I'd be like,
The gremlin's
so this
really
gremlin.
identifiable. Yeah, for sure.
But in this case, like Raven is your buddy.
Okay. Yeah, then I want to try to get eyes on the berserker to give everyone I guess not everybody has like VR
Highlight our
overlays and
mini-map.
whatever, but I want to be able to give like a laser designator something to like point out wherever this thing is coming from. Can I spot it coming?
I'll say that Raven is able to, especially after the roar, use that to triangulate a position. And that I am going to find your character sheet.
Yeah, wandering endlessly. Raven has on its own trench coat and dark glasses, so no one noticed.
Yes, totally. It's like Raven disguised itself as a dog.
That's so Raven.
And
Ooh.
I don't feel bad.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Turns out Jinx doesn't cause the most psychic damage.
I'm gonna say if you want to roll a maneuver
Sure.
and prowess for Raven to pinpoint the berserker and illuminate, because you've got that bank of lights on Raven. If you would like to illuminate the berserker using part of those.
Yeah. Now I'm still a little unclear on the system here. Is there anything I could do to add dice to this, or
You can take stress.
Mhm.
You can ask someone else to help you, or you can try a devil's bargain. Assuming there's one available according to Pooja.
I can help. I haven't left yet, and we are right side by side.
Yeah. So Pooja, what about this? If I were to ask for help, because if I go like fully VR, I can control it more specifically, but I would need Jinx to like hang on to me, and that's the way Jinx could help.
Well, I've also got Inspire as a specific ability.
Oh, right. Okay.
So I'm made for psi support. So I could be your little like virtual machine psychically, so that you can have like that dual awareness, because we have a second awareness to use.
Right. Pooja, how do you feel about that?
I love that.
Okay. So
That is
a
why
bonus
you
die.
have the thing. So if you want to describe what Jinx is doing to help, and you would take 1 stress and give them 2 dice for their pool because of the Inspire.
Oh, but Jinx takes the stress, not me. Okay.
So while I am melting someone's brains out their ears,
Those guys
what do I see from Valkyrie that provokes my refocus?
I think Valkyrie does the like kind of behind her, like grabs at your shoulder, as like her lenses start to light up because she's getting like feedback in her like army, those like heavy frame glasses. And so she's like kind of reeling because she's like, well, cover me, and is like,
What I'm trying to.
and so she's a little panicky, which I think is weird. That's the weird energy you're getting off of her.
And they see her turning with this full fiery force that had been extended toward those two, and seeing Valkyrie, those waves wash away into the ambient feeling around and refocuses not as painfully bright but softer, and looks at her. I've got your cover. I reach out, I take her shoulder, and I'll initiate enough to effectively steady her. Instead, refocusing the energy, not toward melting brains, but sustaining them.
Cool. I think Valkyrie like takes a knee on the fire escape. I also love this image of like her lenses are glowing and Jinx's eyes are glowing, and there's just these two pairs of eyes up in the darkness that are looking out for each other. That's really cool. Okay, so I'm gonna add different colored dice so I know if it was Jinx's dice that got me there. Well, I got the 6. Jinx got me a 5, but I got the 6. So
Okay. So as you pilot like your consciousness into Raven, you're able to pinpoint exactly as this berserker throws back enraged, drops down to almost all fours, and starts to gallop,
like the
for lack of
gorilla
a better
run
word.
kind of thing
Yeah.
on the knuckles.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Towards you. It's coming down the opposite side of the street from where you and Jinx are up on the fire escape.
Mm-hmm.
But is pushing towards both the center of the street. So it's coming in kind of at a diagonal, on a collision course with Brood and Wolf.
Yeah.
And as Raven like zips along and like the array lights up, not quite at like blinding brightness, because that would also incapacitate your teammates in this situation, but it basically shines like a spotlight on the berserker.
Mm-hmm.
That means that like there's no way that anyone is going to miss. Definitely no way that anyone is going to miss
Sure.
ever in XCOM.
No. It's a 95% shot. This is the impossible.
So yeah, it's lit up a little bit like a Christmas tree, and it is coming at you.
Okay. Cool. I have another thing I want to try, but I understand if that's my turn. I'll come back to that.
I am going to say that is your turn, but definitely on the next one. So Brood, I think that brings us back to you.
Yeah.
You have a berserker so next to you, the wolf has engaged this blade wielding enemy. And as you hear what's going on from Valkyrie, and you also look over like at this, award ceremony spotlight situation, and see an enraged berserker barreling towards all of you.
Okay. I'm going to yell to Wolf, fire in the hole, and then I'm going to drop a grenade on this position and run and take cover. Because the thought is when the berserker comes to where we are, that the grenade will go off right there.
Okay. That is fun.
What could go wrong?
So hold on. So does Brood drop the grenade?
Yeah, I'm basically just planting it on the ground.
Wolf, damn it. Okay. I'm trying to make a choice because Wolf would be very much of the mind of no explosions. But because the grenade is already in play, does Wolf make a dive for it? I'm gonna say Wolf tries to make a dive for it. He's more afraid of the lost.
What would I don't understand diving.
I don't
for
understand
it.
what making like you
Captain
aren't going
America?
to be able to put the pin back in the grenade.
Yes.
Oh,
and
That's
hold
not
it. Or no, we can fast forward.
Yeah, I don't
past
think
that.
the
That's
spin
a
sticks
bit-
around once once the pin is pulled. Mr. Grenade is no longer your friend.
Yeah, no, that's fine. It's out.
Look-
Okay, grenade's out.
Here,
Oops, sorry everyone.
I mean, look, if you want to make a dive for it, I have a conceivable save. Stasis.
I don't know that Wolf and Jinx are communicating. right
No, I
now,
don't think
but
so.
Yeah.
But I hate to tell you this. Jinx is always a werewolf.
Okay.
Always a werewolf.
Okay.
no werewolf.
I think narratively, I think it's most interesting if Wolf is going to try to cover the explosion because he's going to yell, "Don't get the lost over here. They're going to get into the city." And dive onto the grenade.
And in the throes of his apparent death wish, looking off from Val to Wolf choosing death, I will put him in stasis. A psychic stasis that will stun him where he is, but renders him immune to harm.
And so Brood drops the grenade and runs. Which direction are you running?
So the way I'm picturing it is the berserkers running down the street here.
Mm-hmm.
We had so the camera actually picks up. We've got two guys over here who are sans weapons. And so I think that I'm running this way.
Like just straight back to where like along the same line that y'all were originally traveling?
No, because they're the guys without guns over there, right? I was thinking of running like 90 degrees and like diving behind a car or something.
Okay. I am going to have you roll a
Maneuver?
maneuver.
Also,
It's never gonna not be an Eddie Izzard voice.
Yeah, of course.
Just a quick tone check. Are we all okay with this move on Wolf? Do we want to X anything, reveal anything? I know that was kind of a strong decision. Are we all good?
I have the ability to protect you, so I'm good.
Yeah.
If you were Wolf Ribbons.
Just a tone check on everyone, because yeah, that was
I honestly, it never occurred to me that that's what Wolf would do.
Yeah.
Sorry, I missed a little bit of that last part. What was the discussion?
Just a quick
we're-
group check-in on
Oh, yeah,
diving on
On
the grenade.
Wolf doing a dive on the grenade.
got it. Yep.
But yeah, like I'm okay with it, and I feel
Cool.
that if that's a choice that Wolf would make, then absolutely.
It was set up with the previous concern. It is paid off with the current explosion. And tragically, we have the character reveal that I will always be noticing you and always try to protect you.
And
Yeah, I was thinking the same. I am looking forward to the end of this when Wolf and Brood have like a really knockdown drag out about combat roles and what we're doing here.
Yeah.
I mean, possibly sooner rather than later.
Please, someone get in a fight with Wolf.
So the question I have for Brood is, how much movement did you have left at the end of that?
So I did roll a 6.
Awesome. So you
There's that.
skirt around the like do a quick sidestep around this weird reaper and dash out. You find a like burned out shell of a car to hide behind. So you know that it has already exploded, so it will not explode again. This is very important to know
It's an
when you
important
dash
detail.
behind cover.
Is it
Oh,
on
the car was
fire?
dirty, not exploded. Oh no.
If it's on fire, we have one turn.
Yep.
And you duck down. Wolf, rather than following you, has dived towards the center on top of the grenade you just dropped.
What the fuck?
The Dark Reaper that was engaging the two of you looks confused for a moment, but thinks that this is their opportunity, and you see them swing their blade to attempt to plunge it towards Wolf's back. All while this is going on, the Berserker is barreling down the street towards you. And so that is what Jinx sees.
And it's far more than the blast of the fortress in terms of visual magnitude. It slams Wolf as he might perceive it, but all coalesces tightly into a cocoon around him, desperately from pure id, trying to protect a man whom Jinx loves.
So as this blast of energy comes out of Jinx and wraps Wolf within itself, the blade comes down towards Wolf's back. The Berserker is merely a few feet away as this explosion splits the street. All of your ears are ringing. And as the dust settles, the only thing left standing, or laying as it were, is Wolf on his forearms, where in this crater where the grenade was.
I'd like to fall over now.
And I think that that is a great moment to end it. We've gone a little bit over, so I want to thank my players for, hanging out, and thank everybody who is viewing for hanging out with us for a few minutes longer. For a little bit of pew pew and a little bit of
Stabby
we all have
stab.
feelings.
That's good stuff.
So
Almost you would say lasers and feelings.
almost.
Get out.
I just want to thank all of my players for being here with me today. I have such a fun time with this game.
Thank
And
you.
I love you all so much. I have been and will probably be in the future Pooja. You can find me on Twitter at LADecy That's LADESI girl, and pretty much all the other socials is Forgotten Saves. If you want to hear me play more PvPRPGs, I am on the 12-Sided Stories podcast. We've just wrapped up season 2 of Otherworld Seattle, and we'll be starting on a Night's Black Agents Night's Black Agents campaign called Dead Drop starting next week. It's a really fun kind of like spy thriller vampire game with our normal crew and also B Zelda. So your non-binary
cool.
Busy Bee is amazing.
They're awesome.
Correct.
So Joe, where can the people find you?
They can find me by looking up at midnight into the moon, wherever you are, and thinking very, very deeply about the people you care about, and just leaning into that feeling. And that feeling is going to bring you into a deep, deep connection that we share across all living species, all living beings. And when you're in that state of mind, you can find me on my social at Twitter, Joe Love Stories.
It's the
And
best outro.
It's the best
It's
meditation
so
app.
good. It's really good. Nick?
Well, in contrary to staring up at the sky, you can find me if you wander through a dark and deserted forest as the moss overcomes each large tree and you go around the startlingly white boulder and you find 4 stones that are stacked in a small pyramid formation. And if you go just a little bit further into that ferny glade, you will also find my socials, which are at Sungrowler on Twitter. And apparently, Facebook has started cross-posting my stuff to Instagram, so I can no longer say that you can't find me on Instagram, because you can, and there's actually occasional content being generated. Boo hiss.
And Sam?
Don't find me. You won't like what you see. Don't go to twitch.tv/Delevely, DELEVELY. There is nothing but darkness and horror and a little bit of science there. Do not go to twitter.com. Never go to twitter.com. But if you find within yourself a dark compulsion forcing you, you will find me on Twitter at Tchaikovsky, CHAIKOVSKY. Do not find me. But if you do, be careful.
Oh, I need to up my outro game so bad. Jason, take us home.
If you stare deeply into the center of your own belly button and gaze and let time stretch out before you, you will find me. It's probably okay on Twitch and Twitter.
At the end and beginning of all things.
At least of this stream.
Thank you everybody so much for joining us. We're here on the channel. Sam and I have a Friday show here on the channel. I thought Nick might have been catching it because I am famous for dropping grenades at my own feet. That's like a jam for me. And you can find me on every other Sunday over on Happy Jack's RPG, doing some stuff over there with the Eye of Horus campaign. And that's pretty much what I'm up to right now. So thank you everybody for joining us. I'm going to let everyone find their own individual raids today, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time. Take care, everyone.